Guys, we're back for another video. Subscribe. Anyway, so the past three videos that I made were kind of, I guess you could call them like rage-inducing, bait. But in today's video, I want to talk about something that's a little bit more general, right? I don't want to like talk about the problems with Dokkan or the global players complaining about 5 stones or somebody complaining about sparking zero. Not that. I don't want to talk about nobody complaining anymore. I want to talk about the difficulty of Dokkan. Is Dokkan battle actually hard, right? With all the red zone, all of the blue spectacle, amazing, spectacular fights, with all the gimmicks, all the I want to talk about it. I actually forgot to bring up one event here, which is where it at though? I think it's the Cellmax event that I want to bring up as well. And then it is something that recently just got an update. Oh yeah, the God event. Okay, so let's talk about this. Is Dokkan Battle actually hard? And we'll go through the different difficult events that came out through the game's history. Um, if I do miss something in this video, or I miss an event, maybe I don't talk about a certain event, let me know in the comment section down below. And subscribe, like the video. Tell me what you think about the video. For real, for real. I don't want to get people watching 2 minutes of the video and be like, "Oh my god, dude, you're complaining." Oh no, not criticism. No, I cannot be criticized. Anyway, so okay, let's talk about it. So in the beginning, right, where Dokkan events were really the difficult uh stuff of Dokkan, the difficulty of Dokkan, the difficult runs, whatever, so on and so forth. And I remember STR Broly's Dokkan event when he first came out was very difficult because he was the first Dokkan Fest. So you had to collect the 10 medals to Dokkan Awaken him, which was the first time anything would be Dokkan Awaken in the game was STR Broly, I think. And his event was hard because his defense was high and you didn't really have units that were on par with the event. Oh, now the event is a joke. Saying is a joke is an overstatement. If there's anything less than a joke, it would be that. Um, but things didn't really pick up until the developers or Akatsuki really put together like the difficult Dokkan events, right? Well, not difficult. They put together Dokkan events in one event or in one run, where you would usually use items for one Dokkan event. Here, you had all six. Was it? What was it? 8 items? All 8 items. I think it's 8. Yeah, all 8 items for like 5 Dokkan events, right? Instead of just the one. You're in the beginning you were able to use it with one event, but now this new event that they came up with at the time it's called Boss Rush. Now Boss Rush is just literally the Dokkan events. It's like a collection of Dokkan events where you go in and you fight certain bosses and whatever. So the first ever was you had Broly, Cell, Kid Buu, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and Janemba. Now again, when this guy came out, he was the hardest fight. Um, what the hell is this? 900% defense. So this is why it was hard in the beginning, right? Because you had like really subpar units fighting this guy. Although like 45 is just, it's a joke. But in the beginning, this was hard. This was what a hard event was in the beginning. After you finish this, you have to go to Cell, who heals. Then you have to go to Boo, who also he converts key spheres, which makes it hard to get key spheres. Again, back then linking was not even all that good either. I remember and the leaders did not give key. I think Broly Broly's leader skill. Okay, for some reason it's just or whatever. It was like key 3 or something, right? Like units passives did not have key, like they were like the start of turn key or whatever. They didn't have that. So you'd go through this with all these gimmicks, increases damage dealt, converts key, Goku lowers your defense, uh, Janemba would randomly also change key, increase damage dealt to you, and then the same thing here. And then they would also lower your defense. So that was like the first boss rush. And then I think this is the one where like they had the yeah, so this boss rush was like you had again Broly, uh you had Cell. Give me a minute. All right, so this token event, like the second level of I guess level one, or the second difficulty, just had a crap ton of token events in it where you again you have to go through all this, and this was the hardest event in the game back then. And then as you see here, it goes all the way up. And right now it just became like a stone thing, like just free stones. Stay hydrated, kids. All right. So this was just stone grab, right? You come in here, you get 35 stones. I believe they all used to have like difficulties. I mean, like the first two had, and then they all just became like one difficulty. And I know there's a stage in here where it's just like a bunch of them. No, it's not this one. Is it this one? Yeah, look at this. You would have to go in and just defeat a bunch of Dokkan Fest units. And this was long, and you only had the 8 items, right? And like back then, oh, this guy just hit you for a crap ton of damage if you let him do that. 22 million. Again, this is the hardest hitting super in the game. There's no bot, even the new events that come out today, there's no boss that hits harder than this. I could be mistaken though. There's just like one UI Dokkan event where like he hits you for like a million damage or 10 million damage or something. But again, I think Trunks is the hardest hitting one. So then this really became easy, right? So then we get what is this? Oh, this is boss rush. Okay. So then we get this. The legendary Goku event, I think in 2017. Uh this was the This was when Tech Trunks and AGL Zamasu came out, the transforming ones. Um, and Tech Trunks stacked defense. And that was the first time in Dokkan where a unit came out and stacks defense. Right? Before, a unit barely had any stats or barely gained stats on a super attack. So that Tech Trunks was the first one to come out um, with stacking defense. It was this guy, right? This guy transforms from the third turn of battle, and when he transforms, he now stacks attack and defense. Um, and we were wondering like, why did they release a unit that just stacks attack and defense, right? It doesn't make any sense. There's no event that's gonna go long enough for you to stack defense. Even in the boss rush, once you leave the fight, the first like character fight or whatever, your stats reset. And back in the day, also when the turn ends, your stats also reset. So they changed that too, so that your stats remain for the entirety of the fight if you're stacking. So this guy releases, right, and then we're like, what the hell? And then they release this, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stages. And this event was extremely hard back in the day. This is, I mean, when this guy came out, we had characters like in 2017, we had like Dokkan Fests like Vegito, like AGL Vegito was still like no. I don't think easy A's were still like a big thing. I think only 2 or 3 characters had easy A's. Um, and this was hard, right? This was really hard. And then especially because at the end here Goku evades here and here, and then this Goku disables dodge. So this was very hard. And the last stage being int, a lot of the good tech characters were just out of service. You can't use them here. I'm pretty sure uh, physical physical Kefla physical Kefla was still, I don't know if she got her easy A then or not, but I know physical Kefla was really good in here. Why am I going to Revenge Battle of Wits? Let's see if we can pull her up. Is she even on here? Oh, I know how to get her. Hold on. We'll go here, Potara, and then she should be a leader. Yeah. So physical Kefla got her easy A in 2021. No, so she wasn't even easy A. So in 2018, maybe the event came out in 2018. I don't know, but she was really good. Uh, because she didn't stack. She stacks okay after easy, but she was really good because she makes physical key spheres. She's a nuke, and then she can evade, which was good for the first like 7 fights, and then has additionals. And she was also advantage. She had an advantage against Goku. So this was a difficult event because back then hitting for 420,000 damage when you barely even had 50,000 health. Right, this was before the 170% meta. This was 170% was not a thing. I think it was like 150 that was there. Um, yeah. I don't think even a lot of the 120% leads were even easy age yet. So this guy comes out, very hard event. You find, and then that Trunks comes out, and then Kale and Khalifa come out after the fourth anniversary, and they completely destroy this guy. Because Kale and Khalifa not only stack, but half of the fight is pure Saiyan and or world like the TOP category member or whatever. So he's on TOP. He's a pure Saiyan, pure Saiyan, pure Saiyan, pure Saiyan, pure Saiyan. And once you get here, it's just TOP, right? And they stacked attack and defense on both 18 key and 12 key, and they dodged, and they were extremely broken for this, and they completely overshadowed this event. Um, then I believe after that, Super Battle Road came out, and Super Battle Road again took the I guess the crown of being the hardest event, and it's not even like one big event like the Goku. It's not even one big fight. It's just several fights. So depending on the units you had available for you, this was hard, right? Like for example, if because you have to use super tech here, right? For you to first, yeah, you have to use super tech. I think yeah. For you to use super tech units had to be good. And I'm not sure if because we can look actually. I'll tell you when this came out. Clear stage on 2019. So this was before the Goku legendary Goku event, right? So unless your tech characters were good, this is hard. And then after they finished the type fights, I remember this was the hardest, or was it this? One of these were the hardest, right? Because you can only use super class, and this was just not. This wasn't just like super class. You had to use one of each, like type, and this is when I believe this is when on global when this came to global or G, I don't remember, but this was around when like the Tech Vegito and STR Rose came out, so it was easy to use them, but the event was still hard. And then depending on the category, like if you had like a lot of good hybrid Saiyans, then it was hard. So it was relative to the units you had and relative to the categories, it was easy or hard, like give or take, right? And then we had Extreme Super Battle Road, which is Super Battle Road, but like on crack. Um, they hit really hard here. So if you're going to one of them, like 643 damage back in the day, like this was hard. Um, and then you still have characters that hit hard, like you know, if we choose like Future Saga, you have like the last fight was usually the hardest, but this seems like 12. Yeah, they. So right now this is easy, right? But back in the day it was hard. And then uh, what is this? It was Broly. So this was when things really like took a very very dark turn, and like now shit was serious, right? Because now you get to this guy, or was it? It was this guy. You could only use one item here, right? Oh, I even forgot to bring up this point. The difficulty of these events also depended on whether you wanted to use items or not. In Super Battle Road and in Boss Rush, you had access to all of your 8 items. But in these red zone stages, you only had access to one item. So that made it even harder. And I'm pretty sure you could use memories, right? During when this came out. That made it 20 times harder, right? That you can only use 2 items. So what people used to do is that against this guy, because like he does 840,000 and causes all damage to all enemies. When did this come out? Um, if we go here, and I believe it was this. So if we look at the first mission, 2022, and the year 2022 wasn't really like for characters. It wasn't really. This was 2022 was what is that like seventh anniversary? So Goku and Vegeta, or was that fifth, sixth anniversary? Seventh anniversary was. This was on the brink of the seventh anniversary, and I believe this was the fusions, right? Gogeta and Vegeta. Yes, this was the Gogetas. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the Goku and Blue Vegeta, whatever. This is when this event came out. And you had UI Goku before this, which UI Goku, if you know, he wasn't even easy hit, but he still had a great chance to dodge, and this guy disables dodge. So, not only were dodge builds useless in here, because like from here he disables dodge, so you can't dodge this. You can't dodge the super attack. So not only can you not dodge it, but the characters were not strong enough to tank. Basically, to tank, you have to have over this amount of defense. And back then, having this amount of defense was not a thing, unless like, and you couldn't stack. Like, there's not enough. Like, this guy doesn't have enough health for you to stack. Like, he has very low health, and you cannot stack. So like, you're going through this like in one or two turns, right? So for your characters to dodge, you needed, or for your characters to not get killed by this, you needed them to guard or damage reduction. And oh my god, I cannot even begin to talk to you about 2022. The characters were all trash. 2023 characters were all trash. Maybe like there's an exception, right? And some characters were good, but they were all bad. They either came out with dodge, or they either came out with like, if this character is linked with some dude that you'd never run, then you have 2% dodge or 2% damage reduction. With basically, there was no way yet to like just deal with this. And then once you deal with this, like, so what people used to do is that they just pop two Whis items and then you go through this, and then you come through here. Here, I mean, he's hitting hard. As you get super, you're dead. You know, it's you get super, you're dead. So this is where difficulty really ramped up. And at the time, this guy was the hardest fight in the game. And I believe right after that we get Omega Shenron, because I believe again we can look through. I think it was Shadow Dragon, Shadow Dragon, Shadow Dragon. This guy. So first mission was 2023. Yep, right before the anniversary in 2023. So I believe we had Omega Shenron. Right. I don't know. Um. So we don't need this anymore. So this guy comes out. Now he's hitting for 800,000. Now if you remember Broly's second the AoE stage, he was hitting for 840,000. This guy disabled dodge. And he reduced damage from all types except int. Right? So first stage disables dodge, and then he raises his defense, and he can seal you. This guy can stun, this guy can seal you if you go through here. And then he can dodge, he disables dodge, he reduces damage from every type except int. This guy, look at this. We already have a ramp up. 1.1 million at the time. This, you getting hit by this, it's game over. Game over, dude. There's no way to get around this. And you know, you could dodge, but a lot of the units that came out in 2023 were so bad. They were all dodge or die. 2023 was like Tech Super Trunks. That he was so bad. Like you can't bring Tech Super Trunks in here and expect to win. That's just not gonna happen. So again, like this is very hard event. And then this guy, I'm pretty sure he had AOE's, right? Yeah. So like AOE damage is 500k, and then he did it 2 per turn. This, you know, events completely ramped up, and this was the worst year for hard events. Why? Because the units that were released were not made for this. Usually, it would make sense that when Dokkan releases a hard event, that they would release a character that would counter that event, not completely counter it, but somewhat counter it. Like for Broly when he came out, the Super Saiyan God Goku and Super Saiyan God Vegeta and then the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, they completely curb stopped that event. They beat the event, but not like by a big margin. They made it, right? They made it a little possible, and then the easy A's in that anniversary were also helping with Broly. But when this guy came out, even like the anniversary units, you can take them in here, you could win. But if you don't pull them, you're screwed. And the LRs were trash for this anniversary. The 2023 anniversary was the Power of Wishes anniversary, which like the Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta, Super Saiyan whatever, Goku, whatever. And they were good. The Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta from the Buu Saga were good against here. You know why? Because they build up crit, so they completely just kill this guy in like 2 turns, or like, and a bunch of additionals. They stack. Their standby. That was the first time standbys were introduced. You go into their standby, they're untouchable, and then once their standby is done, because they had type advantage, and then if they crit, they completely decimate this guy. So that was easy. But if you didn't have them, this was hard. Um, let's get rid of this. Let's go back here. So now came this guy. This guy was a bigger issue than Shenron, because this guy hit for 1.25 million. And again, this is 2023. 2023 units were trash. If we go here, see 20 like October. It's October, no. This is August of 2023. So like we're almost a year away from this being a year old. And this guy hit like a tank. Not only that, but his AOEs are also like crazy as well. And then he reduces damage under 1.5 million. He lowers your attack if you get super attacked. And again, 2023 was a very bad year for Dokkan Fests, and nobody could tank this guy. Again, you could bring in the anniversary units, but at that point, they were starting not to fall off, but they were starting to age, especially the physical one, because the physical one was building up crit instead of building up damage reduction like the SDR one. So the SDR one was usable for a while. It's still usable now, but the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, if you bring them to any events, you could win, but they're very like dodge or die, right? So you build them with full dodge. They build up crit and additionals anyway, and they stack. So in long events, yeah, they're good. But again, the SDR one aged a lot better. Again, 1.25 hardest hitting boss on like turn 1 or whatever, and then he does AoEs. So you either dodge or you're dead. You go into the physical one. The physical one wasn't as hard because there's no AoEs, and he didn't super as much, right? Like 8 cooldown. This guy did not have a cooldown. So this guy supered once, and then he won't super again for 8 more attacks. And if you dodge, you can dodge if you dodge it, so you're good. Basically, you just escape with your life. And 70 million HP is nothing. Defense is very low, but also very high damage reduction. But this is easily like destroyed with crit. Okay, so then we get to recent events. This is 2024, beginning of the 2024 meta. Like 9th anniversary. I believe this was 9th anniversary, because this is here. So if you go, yep, this is right before the 9th anniversary. Yeah, this is right before the 9th anniversary. So Gogeta, this guy was the hardest fight for like a month or two, and I'll get into why. Now this is where things really start to take a turn. This is where like 840,000 was how much Broly was hitting on his AoE turn, right? So, but characters are now much better, and the anniversaries, like this was, we had just gotten Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Tapion, or the whatever that monster guy. So they seal. This is very bad. So you get sealed, you're dead. Not you're dead, but like characters who stack or characters who raise their defense on super attack are not gonna get the chance to do that. And he lowers your defense, your attack, and he's also hitting hard, but the cooldown is relatively high, very low health. It's not really a struggle. Here also not really a big deal. Does the same thing, just hits a little bit up. Wow, it's almost double. Hits a lot harder. Again, health is nowhere near as whatever. And then we get to 1.9 million damage with 44 million. Again, barely any health, by the way. But you can lower this guy's attack, which is surprising. You can lower this guy's attack, so they just let you lower that. Uh, that's not where the fight gets hard though. We get to Tech Gogeta, 2.3 million. You can lower the attack. Again, not a big deal, 50 million damage. And then we get to what made him the hardest fight in the game. Exceed Blazer massively raises attack for one turn, causes colossal damage, and seals super attack. So he seals, and he raises his attack by 100%. So this really becomes like 3.5 million or something. He has so his normals are doing close to a million damage. So when he supers, this is doing over a million damage. He AOE's. His AOE's are doing this much. If he supers first, his AOE's are doing close to a million damage. His super attack is doing over 3 million damage, but you can lower his attack. However, his cooldown is 0. So this guy can super twice a turn. I think that's what that means. So he can super. Oh no, he can super only once a turn. So he can super like last slot, and then next turn supers first thing in the first slot. That's what made him hard. He hits ridiculously hard. Like this was like a change from Zamasu, right? Zamasu was nothing compared to this. He does what Zamasu does and better, or worse, I guess. Uh, yeah. So very hard, relatively hard. But the units that were coming out were now beginning after the anniversary. We received like Beast Gohan. You take him in here, he completely shits on Gogeta. Gogeta is a joke for Beast Gohan. You take him Broly in here, you do his domain, he's a joke. Take Tech Zamasu in here, do his domain, he's a joke. Okay, so after that we get this event. This event came out recently. This literally just came out like in this celebration. And Tenabata celebration. So uh first of all, this guy just begins with a 2.1 million, 2.2, essentially 2.2 million damage. You get hit with 2.2 million damage, you're dead. I don't care who the hell you are, right? Because at this point, no character is going up to 2.2 million damage turn one. Um, Beast Gohan, if he gets like opening rotation, Beast Gohan, he gets supered before he gets hit first, like a normal hit, he's dead. Um, now we now have these easy A's, right? Like the super like the UI Goku and the age and the Evolution Blue Vegeta, we have their easy A's, so they can kind of work with this event. You can also dodge, so you bring a UI Goku in here and you're good. He's gonna dodge the super attack, you're good. Um, but what makes them lethal is that they're doing this much and they're also raising their attack by 30%. So this practically becomes like 2.7 million, I believe. You know what? Let's do some math. Let's do some math here. So if we do, I don't know if this is how it's done, but if we do 2,156,000 times 1.3, one to give me to consider this number, and then the 3 is the 30. So yeah, this becomes how much this is the damage they're doing after they super. Like their super attack just becomes this. Right? So yeah, very hard. And then we get to this guy. He raises attack for 50%. Um, again, if we take this, I don't know if this is actually how it's done. 2.7 times 1.5, we get 4 million. This guy's supering for 4 million damage with like 1.8 million whatever like normals. But he has a very big cooldown. He has a lot of health and he disables dodge. So Yoi Goku is dead in here. He raises his defense after receiving a key blast attack. You can reduce his damage, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, he's very hard because he reduces, because he takes out your dodge. You can't dodge him. And that's what made him hard. Until, this is literally the same event. So so this is currently the hardest event in the game. So I'll talk about this before these two. These two are not as hard as this, but this is currently the hardest event in the game. And we'll go through this. So this guy, so this is not really an issue, right? So you get damage like 10,000 damage as soon as you enter every turn. They're doing 1.1 million right now. Like you have UI Goku can dodge. Like you have Tech UI Goku now. You can get through. This is nothing now. And they lower the attack, blah blah, and then they raise their attack each turn, raise defense with each turn. They disable attack reduction. Again, you can lower the defense, which is useless. Defense is very low already. Not a lot of health. Not a big cooldown, but not an issue. And then we get to 17. 17 is possibly the hardest fight in this stage, um, because he can do this, right? So your rotations are gonna mess up. So if you begin with bad rotations already, and then he locks in your character that you want to keep on the rotation for the next fight, you can't, right? It's so like he's doing 1.6 million, but it's not a lot, right? And he's doing the same stuff as the as this fight, right? He's risking his attack, risking his defense, but what makes him hard is he seals on super attack, so there goes your stack or whatever, and then he locks. So let's say you bring like physical Rose, right, in here, and then he locks him slot one, supers kills him dead. Super Rose's not defending. Super Rose's like defense turn one is like under 100k or something. And then we get to go to 17 and Frieza. 17 and Frieza, they disable dodge. So you're coming out of being locked and your rotation's being messed up to disabling dodge. So now UI Goku's useless in here. But you have Tech UI Goku who can disabling dodge. Basically, you can dodge. They have a big cooldown, very very high, like 1 million damage attack normals, whatever. Very big damage on the super attack. You can't reduce their damage. They raise their attack. Blah blah blah. This is possibly the hardest fight in this stage, right? And then what makes this stage the hardest in the game, with along with this combination, is this. Dude, look at what the hell is this? Look at this. 2.8 million damage. Okay. With 100 million HP. It's not a lot of HP. 2 million defense is a lot actually. God damn. All right. This is why this is tricking you. Like this is a trick. Like you'll get why this is, not a big deal. So they lower your attack, by the way. But once they get under 50 million damage, no way. Once they get under 50% HP, they get 100%. So this is doing 5.7 million damage if you get hit by it. Well, this becomes 5.7 to take it. So you're dying. You're not living this, right? So 2.85. Whoops. 2.850000. What am I doing? 2.850000. Basically times 2. 5.7 million damage. You're not surviving this if you get hit. Not only that, but now you have, this is what really takes a lot of these characters, and then Dokkan is like, "Oh, you like this character? Nope." Do you remember AGL Vegito? He's so worthless in here. AGL Vegito's dead. AGL, like, it's so sad to say. The AGL Vegito, right? This is Vegito. He's supposed to be the supreme king of the game, not Beast Gohan. Vegito's supposed to be the best in the game, in my opinion. Vegito's supposed to be the best in the game, and he sucks in here. Vegito sucks outside this fight, but this fight just completely wipes him off of the face of tier list or whatever. Vegito's not doing over 10 million damage in here, and they reduce any damage under 10 million to 0. So you either crit and you need a 15 million attack stat and a crit to get over this, or you're just worthless. You're not doing shit in here. You're either coming in to dodge or die, or if you have guaranteed dodge, that's your job. That's all you're doing, right? That's all you're doing. So this makes so many characters so useless. Like Tech, what's it called? Tech Jiren, who just got an easy A. He doesn't always reach this, which is sad. He just got an easy A. But then again, this is where Dokkan, like this year's of events, Dokkan started making characters that would counter these events. Like here for this, you have like AGL Carnival LR Jiren and Tech UI Goku. The LR, the Tenbata LR, they completely decimate this event. Basically any character that can dodge, and you have Tech UI Goku, it decimates this event. AGL UI Goku decimates this guy. 3 super attacks with crit, they're dead. Again, int Evolution Blue Vegeta just again decimates these events. So you have now characters, and they're mostly easy A's, right? You have characters now that can counter these events. But back when Broly was the hardest fight in the game, or Zamasu, you had nothing. You basically just lucky, right? And then there's like the outliers, right? I call them the outliers, although this guy's like one of the hardest fights in the game. You have Selmax. Selmax is a very interesting fight. Um, there's like three stages. You can like lower his stats over here. Uh, but like he's hitting hard though, like 2.2 million. He's raising his attack by 80%, but you can then lower his attack. Over here he can't be like you can't affect his stats. He lowers your defense and he raises his own attack. 2 million damage, so you're dying from that, and then 2.5 you can't basically do anything here. Uh, 300 million health. Again, obviously this is gonna be a long event. This is where you bring units that guard and stack, damage reduction, stack, whatever. So raw defense and the guard or damage reduction are very good in here. This event is doable. He doesn't cancel dodge. He doesn't do anything. Um, he also like, however, you cannot bring super AG on and super and extreme AG on from here because he reduces their damage, which I don't know why, but because he's STR. Um, but and then the last thing is the God event, right? The God event. This was the hardest event back in the game. The reason why I didn't talk about it before Broly, whatever. This was before Broly, is because yeah, this was before Broly. Uh, because they just brought back this event again. This used to be the hardest in the game because a lot of gimmicks like they would lock, they would AOE super twice a turn, um, like multiple stages, whatever, right? And then they brought back these three stages here. I'll talk about them real quick. I'm recording for 36. Holy crap, 36 minutes. Um, See, AOE, not really too much damage. This is a joke now. Health is very low, low, low. Yeah, this is nothing. Like 1.2, 1.8 million is where you start to like, okay, that's a little bit hard. Over here we reach to 2.2, which now that's like where it gets serious, right? Because he can lower your attack and defense, and he can seal. Um, Over here we get to 1.9, but then this guy's like raising his attack with each attack received. 100 million health, not too bad. Greatly increases attack, damage reduction removed. This doesn't mean they remove your damage reduction. I just don't know what it means. Reduces damage, received damage, so he has damage reduction. Um, oh, so damage he starts with damage reduction, but then it gets removed. Like his own damage reduction gets removed. This guy can just like get stronger as the turn goes on and tankier. So these events really are not up to par with this. Those were just like revamps. Oh, hey guys, free stones, whatever, right? But this is the event where like you want to go in and like try out the new unit. If the new unit sucks in here, um, it doesn't mean they suck everywhere, but like if you have units that suck in this event and then this event and like this fight, then I'm sorry that unit sucks. But that's just my opinion. So yeah. So I've been yapping for like 40 minutes. So let me guys know what you think about what I talked about here. Um and then obviously there's some other outliers like special events like this thing here. You have like the cooler movie events. You have uh these are not hard. You have like boss rush here. Now boss rush is hard. Last thing I'll talk about it. This is basically all the fights from the previous stages. They just make this guy a lot stronger. He doesn't steal your dodge. He doesn't steal your dodge anymore. He's a, has more health. Blah blah. There's no more AOE's. So they give you this boss rush of the event, but it's not really as difficult as what Broly was in the beginning. So yeah. That's all I have to say. I've been yapping for like 40 minutes. Holy, I thought it was just gonna be a 15-minute video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hit like on the video. Please, please, for God's sake, don't say some dumb crap like the other people said in the previous videos about like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. Watch the full video. I know, just grab some popcorn, watch the full video, and then try to criticize and tell me what you guys think. In a civil way, please. Um, so yeah, that's it. I want you to subscribe to my channel. You understand me? Subscribe. All right. Subscribe to my channel. Do you understand? You better subscribe to my channel. Subscribe.